Like I've said in so many episodes of Not Your Average Globetrotter, wherever you go, you take yourself with you. And I feel as though I so often see individuals looking to move abroad to make themselves happier, to enjoy life, to really get out there. Granted, enjoying life is something that can come along with moving to another country, but not always. And many of you who've been watching these episodes of Not Your Average Globetrotter for a while now might not be surprised when I might say that prioritizing a move abroad based on happiness might be putting things into the wrong order. I always have the opinion that it's better to move towards a place than to move away and leave another. Quote unquote, running away from something can come with some very heavy emotions. But with all that said, let's just jump into the rest of this episode. I'm Rafael and welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Globetrotter. How many times did I say Not Your Average Globetrotter so far? Roll the intro. The title of this episode is probably going to be something along the lines of Moving Abroad Never Made Me Happy. But if moving abroad is not what made me happy, then what is making me happy? The first thing for me that makes a big difference at the end of the day is freedom and realizing that I don't have to live my life according to someone else's expectations. I don't have to live my life to anybody's expectations other than my own. I don't even have to live up to my own expectations. I can very much remember the moment when I first had this realization and how freeing that was to come to that point where, wait, I don't have to live in the place where I'm supposed to be living. I don't have to do the job that maybe somebody would be expecting of me based on how I was raised or with my family that I come from or whatever it might be, that I can live my life on my terms. Why should I need to conform to someone else's time frame of when certain milestones need to be hit? Why should I have any expectations of what milestones have to be hit by when, or just have any expectations, period? And I can say for me, getting rid of that very Americanized mind frame of competition, whether it's with oneself or another person, to be better than, or to have to show that you've accomplished something, or to show that you've done something. That's when I started making a realization in my life that there is the possibility to be happy without the comparison to what someone else is doing. The lack of pressure is something that can actually make a big difference, I think. But moving on from this freedom of pressure, another thing that I would have to say is really important is to detach. Detachment from the old country, the way that you used to live, your lifestyle, certain mentalities and certain ways of living can make a very big difference in your level of happiness where you're going. If you detach from certain expectations that you have of how things are supposed to work on a day-to-day basis or what you need to accomplish, again, kind of getting back to the last point, or even detaching from some of the emotional connections that you have to where you grew up. I mean, of course, that's going to be one of the things that's going to be most difficult because we all have those moments that we look back on in life, those moments that are filled with nostalgia for a certain time and place with people and a certain experience, maybe from your childhood or from your college days or whatever it might be. But once you detach of trying to move forward into your past and trying to recreate what you once had, that can never exist again. When you detach from being stuck in your past is really, I think, when you can start moving forward to your future, both in a literal and figurative sense. Living in your nostalgia is only an anchor to not what you are, but what you were or where you were or what once was that just can't ever exist again. That's just how things work in the universe. No two moments will ever be exactly the same, ever. And once you can embrace the newness and the adventure of exploring the next moment, the next place, the next thing, that can be the beginning of the experience of enjoying a whole new aspect of life and even to appreciate the little moments. I mean, for me, just something that I used to do just to try to enjoy the little things going on in my life and what my current situation was at the time. And it's funny because it actually still brings a big smile to my face even now. I was really at maybe the worst financial situation I've been in. I was just getting started in my career. I was just getting started in life. And I used to work at a video production television broadcast studio. And to get from where I was living to the other side of town where the studio was could take me anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on traffic, especially on the way back home at the end of the day when it was rush hour. It could really be a long time. The center of the city that I was living in at the time was about the halfway point between the studio and where I was living. And so I came to the realization one day, it's like, wait, why am I sticking myself in traffic for 2 hours, getting exhausted and just like really getting in a bad mood, stuck, you can't move, there's nothing happening. Well, what if I just spend a little bit of time in the center, grab a bite to eat, take care of groceries, and go do things that I know will put a smile on my face? And there were points in time, though, when I was working in the studio every day. But at that point, I was mostly working there like 1 day a week. Wednesdays were my day that I was there the full day. And I just kind of got into this rhythm that Wednesdays, I'm going to go have some fun. It's going to be like simple. It's going to be mundane, but I'm going to enjoy it. And detaching from the previous moments, even 20 minutes before, being stuck in traffic just to get to the halfway point of where I was going, then that allowed me to enjoy walking around and experiencing the place that I was in. I mean, even there was a kind of, not a ritual, but like a thing that I used to do. I always used to go to one of the same stores every week. And it would just so happen that there was this little area just outside of the center, but still very central within the city, that had a whole bunch of stores that all had popcorn machines for whatever reason. And you could get really cheap, fresh popped popcorn. I'm sure it had some of the worst oils or whatever that might have been in it. Again, these memories and this fondness for that time does bring a smile to my face. So it's not that you can't enjoy those memories of what you once had, but don't live in those memories. But anyway, I would go and they had like a normal bag of popcorn for, I don't know, less than €1. And then you had a bigger bag and a bigger bag and a bigger bag, and all the way up to a trash bag full of popcorn for probably what was the equivalent to maybe like €3 or €4. And for me at that time, when I was really going through a tough personal situation, financially especially, this was a big treat for me that I used to be able to get my giant trash bag full of popcorn that would last me a few days. And I would sometimes even be sitting in my living room with this giant trash bag of popcorn and just picking popcorn out of there, tie it back up, throw it, toss it over to the kitchen. And it was just one of those little things that I was able to enjoy, that I learned how to enjoy this very simple moment in my week that was probably one of the worst moments that you would have being stuck in traffic, and I turned it into something enjoyable. And it just so happened, by the time I was done with doing all of my grocery shopping and my popcorn shopping and anything else that I had to get done in the center of the city, by that time, rush hour was already over, and I could get home instead of what would be maybe 30 minutes to an hour, I could be home in 10 to 15 minutes. So it made my day that much more enjoyable. And that was just this routine that I got into from Wednesday afternoon until early Wednesday evening. So what is it in your life that you can do to shake things up? Even if you're remaining in the same place where you're going to stay, you don't have to move to the other side of the world to shake up your schedule, to do things a little bit differently. I mean, for example, instead of taking your same path, your same route to work every day, maybe go in a roundabout different kind of way, explore something that you wouldn't normally go do, take a different road than you might. Okay, maybe it'll take a few extra minutes, but if you have that time to kill, enjoy the world around you. Take those precious moments that you have and see what's there. Living in the moment, not being dragged by your past, is very, very freeing. So again, this detachment can also lead to a form of freedom that I was talking about in my first point in this episode. So we're already being taken into my next point here, enjoying the little things. If you are the type of person that goes on your morning walk and needs to go get your baguette, go get your baguette. Go do that. Go drink your coffee in the cafe. Go build your life that you need to be able to go and do that. Or if you see that there are certain things in your life that are just simply not working for you, recognizing that is really the first step. Recognizing what are the things that bring happiness to you and being aware of those feelings in the moment and understanding what are those moments that you can build on top of can really make a huge impact in your life and your happiness. And if it isn't a baguette in the morning, then maybe it is a bag of popcorn in the afternoon. Or if you're needing to walk by a river and you get enjoyment from the fresh air that you have by walking by that river, then maybe it's time to start thinking about where you can live, where you might have a river close by. Or do you already live in that place that has that? Are you living in a place where maybe you're not 100% happy with certain things, but you can make the changes in your life to be able to enjoy that place more? Even though I'm talking about a lot of happy, fluffy topics in this episode, there is a practical side of things where that if you are able to earn a living, and wherever you can earn a living is a place where you can set a foundation to build on top of and be happy. I mean, wherever you don't have an income is very likely to be a place where it's not possible to be happy. Granted, it's not for everybody. And there are many people who are happy with nothing, just living off of the land, who have just their life in nature or living on the street. There are people who do enjoy that kind of life. I'm not saying one thing is right for all, but where you can provide that happiness to yourself, it's important to be able to recognize. And even the things that you don't enjoy, the things that really give you that gut reaction that twists and turns you inside, are also very important to recognize. Because again, that's the starting point of where you can start figuring out what you can do to remove those things from your day-to-day life. And are those things caused by the place that you're living, or are those things caused by a certain set of circumstances that have to do with where you live? Then okay, then that's when you can start thinking about moving abroad to change up your situation. But again, moving towards something positive rather than leaving something behind is something that I think is extremely important. But where I want to end off this episode is where I started. Moving abroad never made me happy. And I'm still constantly working on improving my life, improving myself, and improving things around me. But what has been making me happy is being able to live my life my way, on my terms, and living my life in the way that it works for me. I can hear, though, somebody maybe at home saying, well, that's easy. You're single. Why do you need to think about you're enjoying your life with someone else? But that's the thing, though, is that if you can enjoy your life and be able to live in a way that works for you, then theoretically, if you're with the right person, then that life can work for that person as well. Maybe you're going to have to make some compromises between the two of you, and maybe there are going to be things that you have to work out together. But if you can work out your life to be able to include the person that you are with, that person who means everything to you, and they can do the same, my opinion, speaking just from a theoretical standpoint, that's when life, I think, could even potentially get even better. But anyway, I'm Rafael Di Furia. Thank you all so much again for joining me for another episode of Not Your Average Globetrotter. Of course, a huge thank you to those of you who help to make these episodes possible on a monthly basis at RafaelDiFuria.com/Patreon, Patreon.com/RafaelDiFuria, as well as the thank you button here on YouTube and the one-time support, the RafaelDiFuria.com/Patreon. All of those do really help this project to be able to continue. And of course, if you have anything that you agree with or disagree with in this episode, or anything to add, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below here on YouTube, because I'm not saying I have all the answers or even all the right answers. So I'm very curious to hear anything that you guys might have to say. So anyway, again, I'm Rafael Di Furia. I'll see you all next time for another episode of Not Your Average Globetrotter. So stay safe and healthy out there. Later.